podium is yours.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right, thank you, Tripp, for the introduction. It's great to be here in Charlotte with each of you. I really appreciate your attendance today, especially sticking around for the last group. I know it's been a great day so far, but really appreciate you being here. I also want to express how truly grateful I am to stand before you today, representing the University of Virginia Athletic Department and the football program. There's nothing better than being a part of one of the most prestigious universities in the country that also is part of the best conference in the country. Accomplishing greatness is truly a way of life on the campuses of the schools that make up the ACC. These very distinguished scholar athletes and myself will not be here today without the tremendous support and leadership that we receive from the university's Board of Visitors, our university administration, faculty, and staff. I'm very blessed to work for a phenomenal athletic director and Dr. Carla Williams. Her vision, passion, and leadership is inspiring and empowering. There's a lot of excitement surrounding this year's team. I absolutely love being around our young men. Another huge thank you to our administration, Dr. Williams, our donor base, and staff for contributing the resources, the time, and the effort to assemble the deepest and most complete roster that we've had in 4 seasons. Speaking of the staff, we're one of only 6 Power 4 programs to return our entire staff. This offseason, we added 54 new players, 32 of those through the transfer portal, and 22 of those being high school signees. I'd also like to add that our staff has gone about building to this point, and we've done it the right way. 3 years ago, on the front end, we made a decision to honor the commitments of the young men that were committed to the previous staff. We also decided to honor the commitments of the young men that were currently on the roster, to embrace them and work alongside them until graduation. Our current roster is very balanced. 46% of our players are upperclassmen and 54% are underclassmen. With the addition of the players that we added in the transfer portal, we added 850 games of college football experience. We held a lead in 9 of our 12 games last season, and we're hopeful that the added depth and experience will help us in working towards closing out games in which we have a lead. As the staff and the administration were hard at work building a competitive roster, the scholar athletes were hard at work on grounds in the classroom. In the spring, we set a football record with a 3.23 team GPA, and as a program, we've been above a 3.0 GPA 5 of the 7 semesters we've been on grounds. In our 7 semesters, we've averaged 77 members of our team accessing the 3.0 or above club each semester. This season, we have 7 home games, 4 of which are within the first 5 weeks, and our staff and players are excited to see our outstanding fan base pack Scott Stadium and create an environment that makes it the hardest for opposing teams to play in. I'm joined by 4, 3 of which are up here. Mitchell's on the side, but I'm joined by 4 outstanding young men of character, 4 highly gifted athletes, and 4 phenomenal leaders. Noah Josie and Jameer Carter have been a part of the program the entire time our staff has been in Charlottesville. Both Noah and Jameer have been instrumental in changing the culture in our facility, in the classroom, and on the field. Words cannot express how thankful I am for them and their commitment to UVA football. I don't have to tell you, but they're also really good football players. Chandler Morris and Mitchell Melton joined our program in the spring and have brought instant character, leadership, and swagger to our program. Their football pedigrees speak for themselves, and I'm most excited about their championship experience that they will be bringing to our locker room. You guys are in for a treat as you get to talk to them over the next few minutes. As we get ready to transition to questions, I would like to close by acknowledging the Davis, Chandler, and Perry families. You all are constantly in our thoughts and our prayers. Lavelle, Devin, Deshaun, we love you. We miss you. We know that you'll be smiling down upon us. We are UVA strong because of 1, 15, and 41. With that, I'll open it up for questions.
Coach, thank you. Your first question will come left side, 3rd row, right in the middle.
Tyler Budge, CF Budge. Coach, you talked a little bit about your staff continuity this season. Can you describe what value that brings to the team, having the same voices and the same faces in the room for these players?
Tyler, correct. Thank you for your question, Tyler. Continuity is big for me, and I've been very intentional with creating an environment where I can earn the trust and loyalty of the staff by their belief in the vision that we have, and then also the environment that creates a good space for work-life balance. But I think it's important for the student athletes to hear a consistent voice. Changeover in this environment, with all the change around them, the last thing they need is a change in the meeting rooms. And then also it brings stability. Also, it allows us to not have to start over every single year. So when we hit the practice field running, especially when we're bringing in 54 new guys, we know where we're going. We know what we're doing. And that also instills confidence in the guys because they can see the cohesion, the chemistry. And in order for us to have a great team in the locker room, we first have to have a great team in the staff. And for us to have a great team, we got to have time spent together so that there's trust, there's cohesion, there's chemistry. So it's critical and very important to me. And I'm very intentional in making sure that we maintain continuity with our staff.
Coach, we're going to hang out on the left side just a little bit. So 2 rows back from there.
Cam Lemons, Demi Deacon Digest, 24/7 Sports. On the other side of that, you did talk about how there are 54 new players. Probably 30 of them are in the secondary at this point. I know that was a big emphasis for you. What's the role of both the incoming guys and the guys that have been returning to make that cohesion on and off the field? And from an evaluation standpoint, how difficult is it when you're trying to basically evaluate an entirely new slate of guys across 11 different positions on 2 different sides of the ball?
Cam, great question. I talked about Jameer. I talked about Noah. It's really, really important to have these guys complete buy-in so that when we bring the new guys into the fold, they quickly can let them know these are the expectations, these are the ways that we do things. And they've done an exceptional job of welcoming the new guys in with open arms and embracing them. These guys, Jameer and Noah in particular, have endured a lot over the last 3 years. And speaking for them, I think I can say they want to win. They want to win badly. And they had opportunities to leave, but they believe that what we're building, we're on the verge of doing something special. So it's critical for the guys that are in the program to let the guys know that when we go in the weight room, we tuck our shirts in, or these are the socks that we wear. This is how we finish through the line. And then for the new guys, their role is really to infuse talent, to infuse the culture from a winning standpoint that they're coming from, because we were very intentional in evaluating guys that we felt like would fit the University of Virginia. Now, evaluation, we were able to do some of that in the spring. But we also brought in 13 additional guys, in the spring portal. So now we're going to have to go back to work, in particular on the back end and the secondary. That was the biggest area of need in the spring portal window, and that's what we'll do over the 25 practices. We were able to get a little bit of a head start with about 6 structured workouts, but we're not in pads, so we can't see the actual true football aspect of it. But I've been very pleased with the upgrade in the length, the speed, the athleticism that we've been able to add to our roster.
Center aisle, right up the middle, 3rd on the left.
Frank Maloney, who's talking on 9-10. Coach, you're an offensive player from your playing days. You've always had a big interest in, obviously, how offense functions in college football. Speak to your new offense this year with your new quarterback, 3 new offensive linemen, way more depth now at wide receiver and so forth. Dakota Twitty at tight end. Can you help us get a view of your new offense?
Frank, thank you for that question. Yes, I am an offensive guy. What I do know is the most important thing with offensive football is chemistry. And so with all of those guys that you highlighted, the biggest thing is creating chemistry. Because you can be very talented, but if they're not a cohesive unit, then you're not going to be efficient, and ultimately you're not going to be productive. But I'm excited about where we are. What I do know, offensive football is won in the trenches. Even though I'm a receiver at heart and coached skill guys my whole life, you win up front. And that's why the biggest area that we addressed was the offensive line and adding depth to the offensive line. Probably the one position that we've been playing to catch up the most over the last 3 years. But with the addition of the 7 guys that we brought in this offseason, I think we're in a space now where we can have competitive depth which creates for competitive practice, which allows us to create that chemistry. And I think as we figure out kind of the strengths, the weaknesses, and get the guys in the right seats, then we can start to build towards, Chandler's strengths as a quarterback. He knows a ton of football, and the beautiful thing about offensive football is we like to say we're geniuses and gurus, but we're not reinventing anything. We're just ripping off from each other and stealing stuff and changing the name, right? So the biggest thing for him is to figure out how to get the terminology to where he's comfortable with it and then play to his strengths. And that's what we'll do. And when we have a tight end that you mentioned, like Dakota Tweedy and Sage Ennis and some of the younger guys that are developing, you have the glue that kind of holds it together. So now we can play in 11 personnel, be an up-tempo team when we need to, then we can huddle. We can run the ball, right, out of presentations where we're in 10 personnel and quickly get to 11 personnel. But then also in third down, we don't have to change personnels and tip what we're getting ready to do, and we have a passing threat. So I'm excited about the addition of Jamal Edrin to our room, JT Thomas, a couple guys coming in at receiver to kind of bolster the group that we already had in place to give Chandler some weapons. So I'm excited about the potential. Now we have to bring it all together, and you'll be able to hear a little bit more from Chandler about how he feels about where we are. But it may look a little bit different, but then there also may be some components that are the same, and it'll be dependent upon these 25 practices coming up in fall camp to determine exactly what the identity of this group of young men is. But I know we're better up front, and Josie and his boys are going to lead the way, and we're going to kind of ride those guys as far as they'll take us.
We've got about 3 minutes left with Coach before our student athletes. Coach, your last question, right side, third row, white shirt.
Jack Lowe, Cavalier Connection. Coach, talk a little bit about your off-season transition. You lose the game to Virginia Tech, and you have a couple weeks. You get some NIL funds and a big transfer portal, quarterback change. Talk about the transition, how that's been, and what you're excited for.
Jack, appreciate that question there. Truly grateful to the individuals that decided to support the efforts this offseason and provide the resources for us to be able to go be aggressive and productive in the transfer portal. We knew that we were coming off a year where we would have a very, very large senior class. And I referenced that in my opening statement about the decisions that we made 3 years ago, that we were building to this point to where we were going to have a chance to really transition the roster. And so there's really no downtime, and you go right to work trying to figure out how you're going to position yourself before the dead period hits. You got to get the high school guys signed that first week in December, and then you got about a 2-week window of craziness where you're just trying to get guys to come see you. And every team in the country has the same problem. But I thought Tyler Jones and Justin Spiros did a great job of identifying the guys that we felt like would fit the needs that we had open. And the staff just did a great job of working the phones, trying to build relationship as quick as possible. And then we got them in for spring practice and got the guys moving around, got them through about 8 weeks of winter training, and then hit the grass for 15 practices. And then we also were evaluating where additional needs were, and then that's what led to the direction that we took in the spring portal window.
Coach, thank you. You and Chandler can swap spots.
All right. Thank you.
And we know that our first question from Chandler will come first row. First question for Chandler will come first row, then we'll head back to the third row. So Chandler, first row directly to your left.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Chandler, you've had a journey. You've had a road of going to a lot of different places and trying to find that right fit. Why is Virginia the place for you to have this portion, this chapter of your career? What do you see in this program and moving it forward?
Yeah, I mean, going back to my relationship with Coach Elliott, I mean, I've known him since I was about 11, 12 years old through my dad. I mean, I remember being out there at practices with my dads and just enjoying being around Coach Elliott and just the respect my family has for him and me as well for him. And that was a big factor into it. And it's my last season. I've been through a roller coaster of a career. And my main thing, I wrote down pros and cons and what do I truly want at the end of the day. What does Chandler Morris want? And it was to be around good people. And that was something very important to me. I know Coach Elliott's a great person. I know he's going to have great people on his staff. I wasn't too familiar with many people on his staff. I got to come up on a visit, and it was phenomenal. And And then also too, I mean, the community and kind of the fan base of Virginia. I mean, they're hungry, and I knew that the whole program is poured into this program and want to get it right. And coaches have done a great job going out and getting the pieces that we need. And at the end of the day, it's going to come down to us and go out and execute.
Chandler left side still, third row, almost to the wall.
Katrina Sackins, Sports and Culture Media. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. A great season at North Texas last season. You're now onto your fourth school into your career. What's been the key to adapting to so many different environments while also staying at the highest level that you are at?
That's a good question. I think being at different stops and being around many different teammates has really helped me. And I think my experience, not just the success, but also the adversity that I've faced, I've been able to really connect more with my teammates. Because I mean, it's football. It can be ugly at times, and the game won't love you back at times. And I've learned that the hard way. And just being able to connect with my teammates that way, and really building relationships with everyone, but also too, I mean, and I give so much credit to my teammates. I came in, I mean, I'm just a Texas boy. I've been around home for a while, come up to Virginia. I'm not sure if I've ever been in the state of Virginia before I'd gotten to on a visit at UVA, but teammates, I mean, I came in January, and I mean, they welcomed me with open arms, and that's Jaw and Josie, and just to name a few on our team that have been here for a while. And I mean, that speaks volume, and I'm very appreciative of them, and that's really helped with my transition and being able to kind of take that next step as a leader and fill that role and what the team needs.
Swing to your right, Chandler, third row, second person in.
Hey Chandler, my name is Michael from PlantTheSpear.com. Thanks for taking my question. You come into Virginia after being at North Texas, but also Oklahoma and TCU. You come into a program that has struggled to kind of find its footing over the last several years. What do you think you bring to the table that's going to allow Virginia to take that next step and have a winning season and to move forward?
Yeah, I think I think it's my experience. I think I've played a lot of snaps in college. I've got a good grasp of it, and I've always said, I mean, you can't coach experience. I really believe that. And as a young player, I actually got to sit behind Max Duggan for a little bit, and then kind of learning from him. I mean, he played a lot of snaps. I won the job. I get hurt first game. It wasn't meant to be, and then Max steps in and he goes and he finishes second in the Heisman. No one would ever have guessed that. We go to the national championship. So it was something to be said about playing snaps. And I'd sit down with Max, and he would just say, man, like, you can't, it's all about the experience. I mean, you're going to get there at some point and have all these snaps under your belt. And then at that point, the game slows down for you. And I think that's where I'm going to be able to help us out is coming in. And I think my game is exciting. I think I can take a bad play and turn it into positive yards. I think I can use my feet and escape pressure and everything like that. And I know I've got a great squad around me. I've got great pieces around me that the coaches have brought in, and we're all meshing it together. And I just think it's going to be a lot of fun for us as a unit on the offense, and then us as a team with all the pieces that we brought in.
Chandler, your last question, right up the aisle to the left, third row.
Frank Maloney, Who's Talking 910 The Fan. Excuse me. Chandler, I'm curious, what type of leadership style do you think you command both in the locker room and on the sideline and in the huddle?
Yeah, I think I do a little bit of both. I think vocal, and then also too leading by example. I mean, I'm not the one who's always going to step up and say something. I think I'm going to get out there and sweat with my guys and show that I'm there by their side through it all. And so I think, but also too in the huddle, I mean, that's when I'm going to step up and I'm going to really say something and really break it down and command the best out of my guys around me. And they do a great job of that out of me too, to me too, is we've got older guys that, I mean, we don't just have or four guys that are true leaders. I mean, we've got a group of 12 of us that really command everyone's best and show up every single day and do that. So I think it's a great balance. I think I've I've got a lot of help on this team, leadership-wise, and I just came in and kind of felt it out. And that I learned that quickly, that we've got a lot of guys that are going to be able to help out with the leadership roles.
Chandler, thank you. You and Noah can swap spots.
Thank you all.
Noah Josie will be with us for the next moment or two, and we have our first question, Noah, for you. Right side, third row. White shirt, if that helps.
Jack Lowe, Cavalier Connection. Noah, a couple returning offensive linemen from last year, but a lot of guys out of the portal coming to join you guys. Just how's the relationship been with that offensive line? It's the most depth that's ever been there in your time at UVA. Just how's the relationships been? How have you guys been meshing together?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Jack. A lot of praise to this staff this offseason for the types of guys they brought in. You know, I'm meeting with them in December. It was clear that the key for guys coming in was for them to be good character guys who want to win games, and I feel like that's the guys we brought in. And so coming together as a unit hasn't been hard. There's going to be a lot of competition at all 5 spots during fall camp, which is huge. Having that competitive depth that Coach E talks about is going to be big, and allowing us to build a strong group that can play 12, 15, 17 games, whatever we need.
Noah, right side, third row.
Kenton Gibbs with Locked On ACC. Noah, you're one of the last holdovers from the players who know what it's like at UVA to experience a bowl game at UVA. How do you kind of lead the room and kind of galvanize them to like, hey, that is a big-time goal, or is there bigger aspirations and goals for this team? Because Coach Elliott said this team will go as far as you lead them. So where's the offensive line looking to take this team as like, this would be a great season for us?
Yeah, I think the sky's the limit for this team. I think with the talent we have and the resources we have, we can do whatever we put our minds to. And I believe championships are not out of the question for us.
Noah, right behind him, 2 rows.
Brandon Pockers with the league winners. You've played multiple positions along the offensive line in your career. How do you approach playing those different positions from mentality-wise and scheme-wise, and how do you feel that can help your team succeed this season?
Yeah, I feel, every week you go in watching film and thinking about, how would you approach a certain play a ton of different ways, and I think that helps going into different positions. I think the coaches do a good job, too, of moving guys around, whether it be during spring ball or during camp or even during the season, just getting you, snaps at center, at guard, at tackle, wherever you may be. They do a good job preparing you, so when you do need to change positions in that moment, you're ready.
Noah, your last question from the podium is a follow-up to that. Fans don't follow the offensive line like they follow other skilled positions. With all of the changes that you've had to go through, what would fans be surprised to learn about these transitions?
Fans would be surprised to learn how hungry these guys are. There's a lot of guys in our room who are coming here because this is a great opportunity for them, and they're hungry, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to put their best product on the field.
Noah, thank you. You and Jameer can trade places, and we'll have Ja for a couple of moments, and then we will finish out our afternoon. So for our defensive tackle, we will go back to the third row, right in the center aisle. We'll go ahead and get the formalities out of the way. It is Frank. Yeah, we need to for the folks listening at home.
Frank Maloney, who's talking on 910 The Fan. Jameer, I have watched you very carefully for a number of years now, and it seems to me, number one, you seem leaner right now. What did you do in the offseason getting ready for the new season? Number two, what are your personal goals in addition to leading the defense?
Yeah, so the first question, my playing weight right now is between 305 and 310. I've dropped my body composition a lot, so I believe I dropped, 4% body fat since January. So that was a big goal for me this offseason. A big goal for me going into this season is just being as disruptive as possible. However that looks, I know stats are always a big indicator of that, but for me, I just want to see how disruptive I can be at the line, if I can shed blocks quicker or, pressure the quarterback.
Jameer, we're going to go back to the right side, third row. Once again, gentleman in the white shirt.
Jack Lowe, Cavalier Connection. Jameer, you've been with this squad for so long now, really experienced. A lot of new guys coming into the room, just like the offensive line, but also some returners, Jason Hammond, Anthony Britton, then guys like Hunter Osborne coming in. It seems like a really loaded line. Talk about the competition battles, position battles, and how you guys just making each other better.
Yeah, this offseason has been awesome. We have so much talent, like you said, from guys that are returning and the guys we've brought in. Every day, we know it's a competition, so that's helping us get better. It's never a day where there's always a starter or there's always someone that knows they got a starting spot. So, like I said, that drives our performance to achieve great things.
Left side, Jameer, right in front of you, first row.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Jameer, I spoke with Brendan Armstrong, former quarterback at Virginia, and he spoke about Tony Elliott being the right guy to be a leader of men. Why do you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I think back to when Coach Elliott first got here. Like many of us, we had a decision to make if we wanted to stay or, if we wanted to transfer elsewhere. But, the thing about Coach Elliott is that he cares about you outside of football. And, I think that's very important because in this day and age, it's hard to find a coach that truly cares about their players like he does. So for me, it was a no-brainer that, he's a leader of men and he cares about your development.
Jameer, right side, third row.
Kenton Gibbs, Locked On ACC. Jameer, in terms of your development, what is one big thing that you are looking to do better than last year?
Yeah, I think for me at this point in my life is really just expanding my pass rushing ability. I think I've demonstrated well that I can stop the run, but, obviously, the game is always changing, which means I have to change. And air raids and all the passing quarterbacks we play in this league, it's important to work on that. So that's something I'm striving for this offseason.
Jameer, from here at the podium, are you a vocal leader or do you lead by example?
I think naturally I lead by example, but this offseason, my defensive tackles coach, Coach Downing, he really challenged me to be more vocal. That's something I took to heart. And, it's not necessarily my comfort zone, but if it's going to get us to a national championship and an ACC championship, I'm willing to do it.
So how does one practice being a vocal leader? Is it repetitions in front of the mirror? What do you do?
I think really just there's a saying called season the moment. And what that means is, let's say we're in practice and we're not starting off great. I address that or I say something, or I'm not afraid to say, call someone out or tell them to pick it up a little bit.
Good for you. Other questions for Jameer and the Cavaliers before we ask them to hit their next station? Seeing none, hearing none. Virginia, good luck this season.
Thank you.
Folks, that'll close us out for day one here at the Hilton. Day two in this room with our coaches and players. We'll start at 10 o'clock. Coach Mike Norvell will bring the Seminoles in.